Good afternoon. My name is D, your presenter 001, and welcome to the D Experience. It's another beautiful Friday. The weekend is here. I don't know what your plans are, but I have something amazing for you. Earlier on, I had told you guys, I think last week we were to travel abroad. We were going to Berlin. And then the village witches, my village people are like, you will not get the visa, it will not happen. We were to have a session with FELICITE KAZADI, but it didn't work last Friday. But here we are today, and I'm not going to say much. If you're someone who loves history, if you're someone who loves roots and vibes, if you're someone who loves rumba music, you know, to love a music from a particular country, you need to know what happens in that country. And nobody does it better than FELICITE KAZADI. Welcome, my dear. How are you?
Hi Dee, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Karibu.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start from at least from knowing you. Where was Felicite born? Now you live in Berlin. Were you born in Berlin? Were you born in Canada? Maybe you've been traversing Europe. You only read of Congo. You've never been there. So give us your background. Where were you born?
I was actually born in Congo.
Yes. Oh, fine. Thank you. Finally.
Yes. I was born in a small town called Tembo. It's a border town near Angola.
Yes.
So I grew up in Congo also until I was about 15, and then my family started traveling, and so we moved to the Pacific. We spent a little more than 10 years then there, and then after that I wanted to further my studies, so I came here in Germany to do my master's degree. But yeah, that's it's been a ride since then.
All right. So you're born in Congo, went to school in Congo, raised in Congo. So every other thing that you tell us on Congo Talks 243, you've been there, you've experienced. It is raw from the horse's mouth, if I may say that.
Exactly. I mean, the whole focus on Congo Talks is really just sharing my experience and
Yes.
also learning about Congo. Because what I noticed very quickly is how little you know about your country when you are inside your country.
Yes.
So for me, it happened that when I moved out, I think I became a bit homesick. And so I
Yes.
started digging because Australia, like, you know, is like on the other side of the world. Everything is
Absolutely.
different. Even the time zone is different. So I started to feel a bit, you know, homesick, and I started digging to learn a bit more about Congo. I think I've probably learned more about Congo outside of Congo than when I was inside. But obviously, growing up in Congo has really, really helped me to just dig up my past experiences and just share it with people.
All right. Do you
Yeah.
do this because of the passion you have for the country, or do you do this because you're feeling like they should do better? You know, if I decide to speak about Nairobi now,
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is my city, this is my town. I need to let you guys know every other beautiful thing about this town because I'm
Yeah.
attached
Yeah.
to it. And then there's I might decide to do content about Nairobi because I'm not happy about this city. So which of those two was it? The love side, the passion you have for your country, or oh no, things are not going well in Congo. I really do not like it. So let me tell the world what's happening there.
I think it's a bit of everything, but mostly about me being just in love about the Congolese culture. Like I'm in love with the Congolese culture. I just love the fact that I'm Congolese.
Uh-huh.
I could say that, you know, it's because I think things should change. It's because people should behave this way, but I really don't care about what other people are doing. I
Yes.
think I think the main reason why I'm doing this is because of just my love for the country, the land. I feel like Congo is so deep, you know, like in every way. If
Yes.
you start by the time you start studying history, you just like it doesn't stop. You know, it's like it keeps on going deep, deep, deep and deep.
Yes.
And when you focus on culture, it's the same thing. On lifestyle, it's the same thing. So I think mostly it's me being in love with Congo.
All right.
And then obviously over the years I have grown up. Also, once you grow up, you start noticing some things that are not really going well in the
Yes.
country. So I feel like on the political side, my political touch to my content creation
Yes.
has really come from that place of feeling like things are not being done properly.
Uh-huh.
So that is the point where I started kind of like deviating a little bit from just the love that I had to the reality of how things
Yes.
actually are. But
And how
yeah,
things are supposed to be done. Do you
exactly.
have
But
any
it
family
all
back
started
home in
from
Congo? Do you have siblings in Congo, or all of you are abroad? Mozara Poto.
the Nana family. Oh,
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
family in Congo.
We were just about to go the Kinshasa way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I do have family in Congo. You know, we're Africans, we have extended family, so
Yes.
I still have a lot of family back home. I also have one of my immediate siblings that still lives in Congo,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, most of my siblings are abroad, but I still go back home. The last time that I was there was 2 years ago in 2022.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, like my roots are still very, very grounded
Very
in Congo
intact.
still. Yeah,
What
yeah,
what, what
yeah.
were their thoughts the first time you did a podcast? What was your
Mm.
family's thoughts? I mean, we get relatives like parents, our aunties and uncles will be like, mwana huyo. Tika makambo ya politique. You know, they're like, why is this child trying to bring us trouble? What was their reaction when you did your first content? And what was your first content? What did you talk about?
I think one of my first videos then, you know, when I started Congo Talks, it wasn't Congo Talks.
Mm-hmm.
When I left the African continent in general,
Yes.
I relocated to a small country in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, when they ask you where you're from and you say where you're from, they become apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
people
being
live on
African is
trees.
exactly. It's like being African is a charity case or something like that. So that didn't sit well with me. So
Yes.
I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start. So even at school, when I'm doing presentation about African countries, I will try to show them the good side of Africa and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it really started from that point that I just wanted to showcase the African continent. So some of my first videos were really about the African continent, you know, what it's like. I don't remember what was the first video
But
that
you
you were
but you
saying.
didn't you didn't zero in on Congo. It was about Africa in
It
general.
was not about Congo before. Yeah, it
Yes.
was not about Congo.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. We will probably come back to this. I think traveling to Kenya actually is
Yes.
what inspired me to start something more focused on Congo. But I
No,
guess
no,
we'll
we're going to talk
come
about
back to
that because when you mentioned my country, I want to know what happened to you here. What
Yeah, I will share that.
what made
Yeah.
you decide to do that?
Exactly. So, in the beginning, it was really about Africa, and
Yes.
then I decided to zero in on Congo. So I don't remember. I think the first few videos were really about what it's like being an African child,
Mm-hmm.
growing up in an African home, all of those like so-called stereotypical
Yes.
content back then. So that's where I started from. When it comes to my family, how they reacted, it's very funny because my family has really before they didn't really care about what I was doing
Yes.
in terms of my content creation thing. The only thing that really marked my journey is in the very beginning when I got really, really interested in content creation. I wanted a camera, and
Mm-hmm.
my dad actually decided to buy me a small camera. He bought me a very small camera and gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that, yeah, my family didn't really care, but in the beginning, it was my dad that bought me my first camera
Mm-hmm.
to continue
Yeah.
talking.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I'm sure he'd seen that since you're a child, this one is a talkative one. This one says a lot. Oh, yeah, Zamunoko.
yeah. Take this and go and talk.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
How long have you been doing content on I mean, let's start from the beginning. You started focusing on content from our continent Africa, and then you came and zeroed in on Congo Talks. How long has it been?
Yeah, I think I really started it in 2016 with the Africa something. My channel back then was called Afric Talks 54.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that for a couple of years, so 2016, 2017. And then by the time I graduated, let's say I got my bachelor's degree in 2018. I got the chance to go to Kenya. So I think it's been since 2016, 2017.
Yes.
But then when I got the chance to go to Kenya, I think it opened my eyes in like so much into the differences also that exist within the African continent and
Yes.
just how diverse it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I decided, I'm like, this Afric Talk thing is not really working because I don't know so many African countries. You know, by that time I just visited, let's say, South Africa, and then Kenya was like my second African country to visit.
Yes.
So I just thought I because I spent like about 7 months in Kenya, I really got to see some of the differences that exist even within us as Africans. And I just said there's no point of calling this channel Afri Talk. So I just decided in 2019 to change it to Congo Talks. So it was still in the beginning. So back then in 2019, I probably had like 300 subscribers.
Yes.
So I would say Congo Talks really started in 2019, but then the Afri Talks thing started in 2016.
All right. You've severally mentioned coming to Kenya and what made you change your mind and the difference that you saw here. Just for banter, I keep telling people Nairobi is the London and the New York of Africa. And you see, they do not agree. because because until you got here, you're like, yo, I really need to do this in a different way. What inspired you? What did you see in Nairobi? What in Kenya made you feel like, I have to revive this thing and I have to revive it in a way that it takes me back home?
Yeah, exactly. I think, first of all, I think it's because of the amount of time that I spent there. I haven't really spent so much time in any other African country than
Nairobi,
in Kenya,
Kenya.
in Nairobi specifically. So I spent 7 months, and I think that was a decent amount of time, and I made some friends. And slowly they were sharing some stuff with me, for example, like how different tribes behave, how the Luos date, for example, and
Yes.
how different tribes in Kenya behave, how the Kikuyus are, and things like that. Just like stereotypical, of course, but these are general stuff. They started telling me general stuff about Kenya in general and how
Yes.
that affects the political scene and things like that. I started realizing, I'm like, interesting. But also I was noticing some other things, like some of the foods that I would eat normally in Congo, I would not really find them in Kenya.
Yes.
And I would tell myself, I'm like, but this is not so far from home, you know,
Yeah,
like
this is still
why can't
Africa.
I find this specific food?
Yes.
You know? So I noticed some of the differences that existed, some of the similarities as well. It really opened my eyes. I'm like, let me share about Congo, because that is something that I have knowledge about. That is something that, I was brought up in. I have a bit more foundation, because if I had to speak about Kenya, I wouldn't really know so
There's
much.
only this much you would say.
Exactly.
And most of it from just the tip of the iceberg of what you saw when you visited, or maybe
Exactly.
what every other person has decided to write on the social media. So first things
Exactly.
first, thank you for visiting Kenya. Thank you for loving Nairobi. I'm so sorry you did not
I
get your
loved it.
food.
You don't have to thank me. I'll come back.
Please do. Next time you come, I'm going to be hosting you.
Yeah.
In doing content, there are times we get resistance from keyboard warriors, from people who how do I call them? Not gatekeepers per se, from noisemakers, from particular politicians. Because I have watched your content, I've listened to your content, and it gets to a point where you really have to dig in and say, this is not right. Congo shouldn't be like this. Politicians, have you ever met that kind of backlash? From people who believe this leader is doing things right. There's nothing wrong with this one. And you are talking from a position in Europe. Ozakuna. You know, why are you not talking from here? Have you gotten that kind of a backlash?
I mean, most of the times I try not to go too deep into politics, and especially when it comes to political figures, because I always feel like it creates a lot of division, and people really are not listening to the message that I'm trying to pass anymore. But it happens to me sometimes that I would share a story about a specific political party, a specific political figure, and then people would, catch
His
feelings.
people
for
would just
example.
show
I
up.
remember, exactly. I remember once, this was not even a keyboard warrior story. It was actually someone that we hired as an assistant in terms of like writing.
Yes.
So I would create the content, I would make the research, and I would ask them to just write content for the website or whatever. So in this particular political figure case that we came to, he did not agree with my findings.
Yes.
And he tried to make sure that he expresses his own views on the story that I asked him to write.
Wow.
And so I had to explain to him, like, listen, I didn't hire you to create a political debate.
You should
I
have
hired
done
you
this
to-
before. You should have done your own blog or whatever.
Exactly. So but I try not to be, I try not to pick sides, because honestly, I feel like the political scene in my country is a mess
Yes.
anyway. There's nobody that I would really choose and be like, oh, this is my hero.
Oh, this one is better
Probably
than the
apart
other
from
one.
Patrick Lumumba, that we did not
Yeah.
see, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
But there's nobody that I would really pick. I'm like, this is someone that I really, really support. But even then, when you're doing, like, general research just about, general political figures, you see that some people will still have something to say, disagreements. And I get that even on social media when
Yes.
I create content, and I get that when talking about Paul Kagame, for example.
Yes. You know what I've always said about social media?
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere is going through something that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
But since you are, say, a public figure, or since you've decided to create content to talk about something, they're like, this is where I'm going to pour my frustrations. So in this journey, it is. Let's just be ready. Let's have the tough skin that we're going to meet this kind of people. The truth is never the truth to some people, and someone somewhere will always have their opinion.
Yeah.
So from me to you, that should not deter you. That should not stop you from doing what you're doing. Content on the side, we're going to come back to that. Is there anything else that Felicite KAZADI does apart from content creation? Do you go to school? Do you work? I mean, or do you just stay at home and get free money from Berlin, from the
It would
government?
be nice.
Oh, I'm from Africa. There is war.
It would be
Pay
nice.
me.
You know what? That's actually my dream. I want to be like a baby girl.
Oh,
I
please.
don't need to work.
Uh-huh.
Just give me money.
You want baby girl
Stuff.
treatment. I beg you,
You
go work.
know? That's what I want, but unfortunately, no, that's not what I do.
Yes.
So I'm still studying. I'm working part time.
Mm-hmm.
I am a wife. So I'm
good
just
good
dropping it
problems.
out there.
Good problems.
I'm just dropping it out there. Dear husband, if you are watching this,
Yes.
I want to be a baby girl. I want to be taken care of.
That's the last person that will support you in the baby girl treatment. That man will want me to work even and go to school when I'm supposed to be receiving pension from the government, you know?
Is this from experience? Because it's not encouraging me right now.
No, this is experience, honey. We're in this together. We're in this together. So what are you studying in Berlin?
So I'm studying I would say it's philosophy, political science, and economics. Yeah, but it's a very long name.
My question is home, political science. You see the similarity of the content that you do. Any plans to go back home and maybe become a leader? Political
No,
science.
that's not my dream at all. It's too messy.
Please, we are looking for more women presidents. Look at Samia. I mean, Samia Hassan of Tanzania.
That's nice. I applaud her. Madam, please, I greet.
You have washed your hands off the problems of Africa. You do not want to carry them on your head.
It's too much for me, to be quite frank. I feel like I'd rather use my education for something else, like some activist work. Not really activist, like get too involved in it, but just to make a positive change. And I feel like somehow even Congo Talks is also contributing to that.
A lot.
But I think for me, I just wanted to learn a bit more about the political scene, like how politics work. And quite frankly, by the time that you start studying politics, you will notice that politics on paper is not the same as politics in real life. On paper, it looks like fun, you know. It looks like, oh, nice.
But once you're on the ground,
once you are in it, on the ground, it's just messy.
Things are
You don't
totally
even understand
different.
what is happening anymore.
yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future of Congo Talks 243. What are you looking to achieve?
Yeah. I think my goal now is to just kind of like have an electronic version of Congo, because I feel like when it comes to Congo, there's a lot of single stories. For example, when people think about Congo today, they are more likely to think about war or something like that.
Exactly.
For me,
I mean,
it's more
absolutely.
about-
That is the first thing that rings in someone's mind, unfortunately.
and that is very, very unfortunate. And even the war itself is very unfortunate, because I mean, it also affects me as a Congolese person. But I just want people to have a more authentic image of Congo, and I want it to be out there and accessible for everybody that wants to learn a bit more about Congo. So I want to really just create a very authentic image of Congo, and that includes everything, the good, the bad, the absolute ugly, everything out there.
All right.
Yeah.
If you're given a chance to sell Congo in terms of in words, in say I wanted to go settle in Congo, say I want to go do business in Congo. And I'm directed to Congo Talks 243, and I'm told the right person to go and speak to, the right person to give you a glimpse and an idea of what happens there is Felicite KAZADI. How would you sell Congo?
I don't know. See,
I'm
the
going
only
to
thing I would
invest.
say,
I'm going to invest. I want to take my.
you want to take your dollars.
I want to take my moolah to Congo.
Yeah.
How would you? How best would you sell Congo?
You know, as someone that has invested in Congo,
Yes.
I would say, I would say, do your research.
You don't want to be blamed.
Please, do your because you know I've been there, and I'm not a fan of, as much as I love Congo.
Yes.
I'm not really a fan of selling dreams or selling unrealistic expectations, for
Yes.
example. And this is why I really accentuate on the word authentic. I want an authentic image of Congo to be out there. Not
Yes.
really for me to start telling people like, it's all beautiful, it's flowery and
Yes.
stuff. The land itself is very rich, it's very beautiful. But the way that the country is run, it just pushes me to be more honest with people. So in regards to business, I would really say that if you want to go the Congo way, inform yourself as much as you can.
Yes.
I will not sell Congo and say it's the easiest place to do business. I have invested there, and I can see the challenges that arise, with that. And
Are you trying to tell me you've had a lot of premium tears from the investment you've done back home?
the only thing that is preventing me from crying
Yes.
is telling myself that there's no need to stress myself like this. So, but you can cry, and the business environment is unfortunately not so friendly at this point.
Yes.
But if you have a thick skin and you can take it, I would say do your own research and see how you can go about it, and maybe collaborate with other Congolese people that are on the ground to help you, because that's what I've been doing with some family members that are on the ground.
Yes.
So we know that I have something there, and they are looking after it and informing me about it, and we're working together. So, but I would not say that, oh, you're in the US and then someone tells you to buy land in Congo and you send them money and they'll buy you land and it's safe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I mean, your advice is someone is better off finding out for themselves.
Yeah.
You don't want to carry the blame game later that Felicite said there's ABCD.
And I do get these questions a lot about business, like how
Yes.
can I start a business?
How can I
I'm
get
really-
gold from Congo? I love gold. You know, I'm Nubian. I'm originally from Sudan, and we love bling.
You guys love gold.
And we
Ooh.
love bling. All right. Now that we're speaking about Congo, and later on, my fans and Roomba lovers like me are gonna watch this, and there's one thing they would actually hang me for if I didn't ask. The
Okay.
music scene in Congo, is it ambiance all through, or I mean, you know, sometimes people give you stories about Congo and someone tells you, D, if you go to Congo, you won't come back. We don't go to work. We dance from morning to night. It's just party from party. So
That's really-
the music scenario, the love of life, because Congolese people, the ones I've met here, the friends I have here, they love life. Can you tell us a bit of how it is back home?
Yeah.
The
It's really
enjoyment
vibrant.
part. Is it something they come and do when they travel abroad, or it's something that starts from home?
No. It really starts from home. And that is the same no matter where in Congo you grow up. Congolese people are just into good vibes. Like we like a good time. We like to dance. We like music. Like music is like part of our everyday life, basically. Even if you don't listen to secular music, for example, you don't listen to secular rumba, for example. Even in gospel, there is rumba. There's
Yes.
Ngombolo in gospel. So all the Congolese music genres that you have them in both secular form or gospel form, and it's really just a vibe.
It's the
being
way
in
of
Congo.
life.
It's a way of life, exactly. So it's really the way that people see Congolese people abroad. that's how we are back home.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference. It's really just vibrant like that, and
Yes.
we love having a good time for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about work. Do are Congolese people hardworking people, like say the corporate side, the
Yeah.
8 to 5 p.m., or is everybody a musician?
No, I wouldn't say that everybody is a musician,
Yes.
but I would say definitely that Congolese people are hardworking people. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of 9 to 5, there really isn't that much of opportunities for like professional opportunities for people
Yes.
to be in the office 9 to 5 and things like that. Some people are 9 to 5, but most Congolese people are just hustling.
Yes.
They are
Business.
entrepreneurs, business people trying to sell stuff. Uh, yeah, It's not 9 to 5. I feel like it's morning to evening. People
Mm-hmm.
are just hustling to make ends meet. But
Yes. Not
yeah, they are
specifically
very,
the 8 to 5 kind of program.
for sure, for sure. So they are very, very hardworking people. That's for sure.
All right. How many
Yeah.
tribes do we have in Congo?
Ooh, more than 200 actually.
Oh wow.
More than 200, more than 400 dialects and languages. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of tribes in Congo. Lots of
But
tribes.
what is the national language? What do you guys speak?
Yeah, so we have four national languages actually in case of Congo. So French is on official language, like everybody knows. But then in addition to French, we have four national languages, which are Swahili, Chiluba, Kikongo, and Lingala.
All right.
Yeah.
The musicians come from which side? Because I'd say, like in Kenya, what you said earlier is you learnt about the Luos and what have you. If someone asked me the people who boast, the boastful tribe in Kenya, I would say is the Luo.
Yeah.
So is there a specific region, or let's say Baluba, or those that speak Lingala or Swahili, is there a specific region that produces musicians, or it's an all-round kind of thingy?
It's an all-round thing, but you will find most of them in Kinshasa. So most musicians in Congo sing in Lingala
Yes.
because they are from Kinshasa, but they come from different parts
Of the country.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if I would say that. Yeah, the musicians come from Kinshasa
One
per
specific,
se.
yeah.
Exactly, but because most of them come from other parts of the country, and then
They
maybe their
they
parents
migrate
moved
into the
that side.
city.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a bit personal. There is a habit that some Congolese men have, some musicians have. But I mean, there's so many here in Nairobi. I'm a Roomba fan, so I know the bands, I know the band members, and what have you. So you find that those who just decide to be Mario, those who just decide to come and find one mama with money, and all he wants to do is look good in the evening when he's going to sing, and this woman provides everything. Is this a habit that comes from home, or just some habit they've created now that they're away from home? But
You
Mario
know,
Bazakuna?
that's something actually that I found out about Congolese
Yes.
men in Kenya.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I've never heard of Congolese men being Mario.
being kept
Until I
back
came.
home.
Yeah, just being like, con men and telling women sweet lies and things
Yes,
like that. That
and
is
driving women's cars and being bought for everything.
exactly. That is something that I found out in Kenya actually. But in Congo, Congolese men are always seen as the providers, like they
Really?
provide for the family.
Nakamwe. For real, these people do not have those habits back home.
No, like in Congo, they are the providers of the household, just like in many African countries. But when I went to Kenya, it was a bit different. I was surprised. I'm like, so this is
The norm. This is what's
the
happening here.
reputation. Yeah. It's a bit
Or
different.
are we
So
the ones, the Kenyan women? Let me whisper.
you
This one,
have to
this
blame-
I need to turn my voice down. Are we the ones who have taught them that we can kick them?
Can I? How do I? Maybe Kenyan ladies, you work too hard. You have to show Congolese men that you can't do anything.
No.
for
Let
that.
me tell you something. A personality that Kenyan women have. We have this independent kind of personality. We have this macho kind of thing. I have my job. I can provide. I can pay bills. I think. Okay, I do agree. I do know that we are the ones who've made your brothers like that. I am just
Maybe.
about to apologize for the rest
Maybe
of the country.
you guys, you have to relax a bit. When they approach you, relax. take the back seat and be like, take care of me. I can't do anything.
Go sing, bring money, let me buy makeup.
Bring money, take me out.
Actually, they do not make much from the singing. So, no, but probably we just have a good heart. We just like to take care of people who are not earning much.
That's nice. That's nice. So, Congolese men, wherever you are, go to Kenya.
Go to Nairobi. Not anymore. I mean, back in the years, so many of them came here and they lived lavishly. Because one, we love the music. In fact, most of the time, if you go to Roomba clubs, you'll find a majority, I'd say 50-50 or 50-30, women would be more. Then I think now the attraction of the voice, the way he sings, and you'd be seated there and sing the way this guy, Sogia Zobina, Seben, Loketo. So women, and this is not young girls. This is women who are probably divorced, who are probably widowed. Yes, it is not young girls. Yeah. So in her mind, she'll sit and think, if this is what he's doing on stage,
which is not true, by the way.
Oh yeah.
They're just good dancers. I'm just putting it out there.
No. I love this way that you've chosen. Olobinini.
Yeah. See, I feel like when people see, the winding of the waist,
yes,
just building up images and stuff like that. But in all honesty, it's just culture. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't add to nothing. Olobi kuna eloko ezate.
Pardon?
Olobi kuna eloko ezate.
Nalobi pomote. Olobi sarangambo. That's okay. What should I say?
Okay, people should stop assuming.
They should stop
that assuming. Since the Congolese are good dancers, it adds to
other things.
Other things. It is just a culture. They are just flexible. Music is their thing, and they're just good dancers.
And that is something that you find from the moment that a child is very young. We already know how to wind our waist.
Yes.
Like even when
they already know how to sing.
That's the dance. Yeah. They already know how to sing. So that is something that is just culturally has no relevance whatsoever. If you want to find out other type of performances and things like that, I feel like you should spend time with people.
I love the way you've carved it. If you want to find out different kinds of performances, that is a person. It has nothing to do with the culture.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah. If you were, say for example, you were still living in Congo now, you didn't get a chance to go abroad. What would you be doing in the country now? Have you ever thought of that?
I haven't really thought of that like that.
Maybe you'd be a musician.
I don't. You know what?
I used to sing in church. Oh
yeah. Yeah. I used to sing in church. So who knows? Maybe I would. I would start releasing songs. And actually, at some point, I started even writing songs. Like shortly after I left Congo, I do have some songs that I wrote, like gospel songs back then that I have not recorded. So I don't know. Maybe I would have pursued that path a bit more. But yeah, I cannot really. I can't imagine.
You can't place your mind. What would you be doing?
Maybe I'd be a teacher too. Maybe I'd be a teacher because I used to love. Yeah, because I used to love teaching. And back then, I think you could graduate high school and start teaching in primary school. Back when I was growing up,
maybe that.
So I think I would have probably been a teacher or something. Yeah.
Do you still think you want to go back to singing someday? I mean, if you're a songwriter already and you have the voice. And I'd say this, music in Africa is a different story, but abroad, music would earn you that, little money to keep you going. And you'd be entertaining us as well.
Yeah, but I think I'm past that now. I would probably record a few songs and things like that, but I don't see myself as going full-time
artist. FELICITE KAZADI in...
Because I feel like they don't really have a personal life. Everybody's just in
their story. Everybody is in your business as well right now. Honey, you're not a small figure. You're already a public figure with your Congo Talks 243. So you better be ready.
But I think it's better this way because I feel like this way I'm able to share what I want to share and everybody's not prying into my private life. Of course, some here and there you still hear people asking, why did you marry this guy? who are you dating? Are
Mm-hmm.
you single? and,
They
and
they, they
things
want
like
to
that.
dig and know more about you.
They want to, yeah, dig and know more about you. I feel like as a singer, you don't really have the privacy that
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm enjoying right now. If I was
Yes.
doing business,
Mm-hmm.
rather, if I was doing music at this point, I feel like life would have been a
You
bit
wouldn't
more
have a life per
paralyzing.
se.
Yeah.
All right. You've spoken about marriage now. You spoke about marriage earlier on when you're introducing yourself. Who are you married to?
I'm married to my husband.
I beg. You know good name. Is he Congolese? Is he
No, he's not
white?
Congolese.
Is he white?
No, he's not white. He's African, but he's not Congolese.
All right.
Yeah.
And that has sat well with your people? I know Africans and their.
Yeah. Um, I well, with my family and people that actually matter, yeah,
Yes,
it's
but the
fine.
rest is up to them.
But the rest, I really don't care. But I every now and then I get questions like, why
Mm,
didn't you end up with a Congolese? I'm like, I ended up with someone that suits me.
someone that God decided this is going to be my husband.
You know,
Mm.
exactly. So I feel like those when it comes to matters of marriage and relationships, I feel like it's you that is going to live with that person for the rest of
It's
your
your
life.
own decision.
It's your decision,
All
really.
right. Assuming your husband will not see this, assuming he's nowhere near, would you marry a Congolese before?
Oh yeah, I would marry a Congolese. I would marry anybody that was compatible with me.
Yes.
So it's not like I have the
An
only thing that
issue.
I wanted,
Mm.
the only preference that I had is the fact that I wanted to marry a black person.
Yes.
It sounds
It
it
didn't
sounds
matter
like
where the person came from.
didn't really matter where
Mm.
the person came from. On the and I wanted to marry an African, so I was very specific about that. I wanted to
Yes.
marry an African person, but you know the funny thing is, before my preference was actually Congolese. Um, I had this preference for Congolese because I was like, I will end up with a Congolese babe like me. I end up with one. Um, but then it just didn't work out that way. I mean, it's first of all when I spent most of my time in the Pacific.
Yes.
How many Congolese people are you likely to meet? And the ones that you meet, what are the chances that they're going to be compatible with you?
Oh, yeah.
So I realized that this whole thing of like, I want to marry a Congolese thing, it was not really sitting well. So I opened my horizon to the African continent. I'm
Yes.
like, yes, I want a king, a beautiful man from this
Yes.
beautiful continent.
Mm-hmm.
So and I met my husband. He's from Nigeria, and I was like, yes, you are my husband. I know
This
for a fact.
this is the one.
This is the one.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy for you. You do not pass for a Congolese babe. You
Really?
are, yes, you are reserved, you are laid back, you have this original African what is it called? Melanin and skin tone, and you, I mean, you're not flashy like when I talk about Congolese babes, you know what I'm saying about the big
Yeah,
wigs,
yeah.
the choco and what have you. So even the first time I went to your page and first I heard you speak and I'm like, okay, not
She's the
Kenyan,
fake one.
not Kenyan, but of course not Congolese. And then the skin tone and everything, just told me no. You'd pass for an East African. Yes, you'd
Okay.
pass for a Tanzanian.
Okay.
You would you would pass for a Kenyan, but I think a
Mm-hmm.
Tanzanian more because of
Okay.
the laid back
Yeah.
attitude that I've seen. I don't know more, but I'm just going to give you credit on that.
No,
I don't know
I
that
hope it's a
side.
good thing, though.
It is. It is. It's a good thing. You would most definitely pass for an East African babe.
Mm,
Another question from what we've just talked about is,
okay.
what is this thing about bleaching with Congolese people? I
Mm,
have to ask that for my fellow Nairobians.
yeah.
What is this
So,
thing about basi ya pembe? What
Choco.
is this thing? Yes, choco with light skin.
Yeah.
Yes. What is that
To be
obsession?
honest, from my experience, it's more probably a Kinshasa thing more than a Congo thing. I didn't
Okay.
grow up in Kinshasa, so my
Mm,
experience is quite different to people that would grow up in Kinshasa.
mm,
So, but being older, I feel like you get to notice these differences in mentality and stuff. So the whole you know, the whole focus on Basia Pembe, I find it a
Where?
bit more on Kinshasa
Mm-hmm.
than in the rest of the
The rest of
country.
the country.
Where, yeah, so where I grew up, it was in Bandundu. This was Western Congo. The approach there to skin color was very different.
Mm-hmm.
We were not into skin tones.
Yes.
Beauty was beauty there,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see men talking about two beautiful ladies, and the two of them would have completely different complexions.
Yes.
So that was my experience. And when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to bleaching, of course, you would see people that would bleach. It was not more about the skin, like the insecurity, or it wasn't more about colorism. It was more about showing off. You know, back
Yes.
then when you see someone bleaching, they would tell you that, oya telite aulia bonanete,
Mm-hmm.
nazwi. You know, like it's like you're showing off.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
now rich, so you can afford the products to
Yes. I'm,
bleach
I'm, I'm
yourself.
doing better than the rest of the girls I left in the village.
Exactly, yeah. But it wasn't about the skin tone itself or colorism. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yes, 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 it does.
they were doing it to
To
show off,
show off.
basically. But
Oh.
yeah, so yeah, that has been my experience around that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but
So it's
obviously
it's a
there's that.
Kinshasa thing.
I think it's more a Kinshasa thing. It's not
Yeah. So
really
it's
a
it's
Congo
it's
thing.
my bad. It's actually very wrong for us to generalize that
Yeah,
it's a Congolese thing. It's not. It's specific people who've gone to the city and decided, now we've made it. Now we know things. Now we can afford. Now
yeah, and
levels have changed.
maybe it has to do also with the outside touch, because I mean, the more mainstream, the more you live in bigger cities, the more
Mm-hmm.
contact you have with, people from
Different people.
outside,
Yeah.
so their views get to affect you as well. So people that have grown in the interior parts of Congo, they have a completely different outlook on these things than people that, let's say, that grew up in Kinshasa, Goma, or Lubumbashi,
Yes.
those mainstream uh, cities. So yeah, I would say it's predominantly a Kinshasa thing, and maybe some other big cities
All
here and
right.
there, but
Yes.
not really a
A
Congo thing.
Congolese thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. What music do you listen to?
I don't actually listen to music
Yeah, well.
until someone plays something. So
Oh
I
yeah.
enjoy different music. If you ask me what's your favorite artist, or in Congo, probably I would choose one. I think I would probably choose Fali Ipupa right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really sit and just play music and listen to it. I love music, but I don't listen to it.
If I asked you
Um,
to give me five Congolese songs that you love,
yeah,
would you have that? You can mix, not necessarily. We
probably.
we can go secular, we can go gospel, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
five
yeah,
names of the
yeah.
song and the artist.
Yeah, I was actually brought up with mostly gospel Congolese music.
Yes.
I was introduced to secular Congolese music after I left Congo, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I really started digging into rumba and stuff. And I would say some of my favorite songs right now are also secular. Like Mario by Franco is one of my favorites,
Mm-hmm.
even though I don't feel like Franco Luambo is my favorite singer. I
Yeah.
mean,
But the
because I feel
song.
like Atonga Atro, Atonga, I mean,
Allo bagale verite. That is the first person who should be your favorite artist because you're also on the line of setting things straight.
Franco, like growing up, I wasn't really listening to those music, but
Yes.
now growing up, and I take some time sometimes, and I hear what they say in their songs. I'm like, Franco was such a nosy person. I'm
He was
like,
in everyone's business,
this is the type of guy that I would not date.
you know?
I'm like, you date him, and he's gonna put your whole relationship on blast. And
Yes.
I don't, yeah. So Mario by Franco, I would say, is one of my favorites. When it comes to Fali Ipupa,
Mhm.
I have so much. Like back when he was still new, like his song "Associé" was like
Yes.
one of my favorites.
Oh, I love Associate
Um,
too.
on
Cadena?
the gospel, yeah, on the gospel
Mm-hmm.
side, I would say there's a singer in Congo called Lombongo, and some of her songs back then, back in the days, were really nice.
Yes.
All of them, yeah. Lombongo, I really love her
Mm-hmm.
songs. Yeah.
All right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just about you and Congolese music this
Yes.
much. I mean, totally understood. One would think like, oh, she's from Congo. That's where all the good music comes from, according to what I love, because I'm a Roomba person. And I would eat, sleep, live, run, walk. My car is Roomba 24/7. I mean, if you come and you don't like Roomba, I beg you can just step down. This is not my
But that's
motto.
the vibe even in Nairobi. I
This
really
not
love
my
it.
motto. If you not like step down. I will be blasting
Come on.
I beg, shift small. I'll be blasting my music. So that's totally understandable. Someone would assume that since you're from Congo, you would have you would love that music. You would have a playlist. It's good to know that people are different. That in Congo, someone can decide, I love hip hop. I do not listen to my country music. Someone would decide, I love blues, hip hop, R&B. Totally understandable.
Like one thing that I would say though is that Congolese people are obsessed with Congolese music. That is one thing. Me personally, when it comes to music, I don't really take time to listen to it, like whether it's Congolese music or it's hip hop or any other or Afro beats or something, unless somebody else plays it. But most Congolese people are really, really into Congolese music. It's now that I've noticed that people have started exploring other music, for example. But most of us, I don't know what it is, but it's like maybe because we were really mostly brought up with that. So we tend to gravitate towards Congolese music more. But it's really rare to find a Congolese that is like, I'm really into another music genre other
Yes.
than Congolese
Other than
music.
Congolese music.
Yeah, I feel like even when you go to Congolese parties, sometimes people get annoyed. They're like, "Why are you guys just playing Congolese music and there are
Yes.
other countries here and things like that?" So I feel like Congolese people are really, really
Into
into
themselves,
into
into their
themselves.
music, and into everything about them.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it can feel like it's rude or it's not
Yes,
including other people, for
especially when
example.
you're mixed with people from other country, that doesn't come out
Exactly.
politely. But
Yeah.
since a Congolese wannabe and I love rumba, I wouldn't mind. We can play
We
rumba.
adopt you now.
I know
Oluba
now.
Dogba Lingala, don't. We've adopted you.
Eh, you should. I have I
So that's
have
the
I have
one thing about
Congolese
Congolese
friends
people. Once you
here.
speak Lingala, without Congolese.
Yes, I have Congolese friends here. I said, yo za muluba. Yo za Kenyante. Monogona yo wana. What Baluba talk a lot, huh?
Abaluba minye.
Yes.
No,
So
no, I'm Uluba. I'm half Uluba.
okay, makes the two of us. From today
We can
on,
talk.
I'm from Congo. Wow,
Mm.
it's been amazing having you and getting to know about you personally and my fans. This is just to prepare them for what is in the kitchen. Roots and Vibes is going to be lit. Now you already know that we have Felicite KAZADI. She's Congolese but living abroad. She's going to be serving us hot sauce from there. And I'm going to be serving hotter sauce from Nairobi. So these two
Yes, so
cultures, not about to clash, they're about to make Africa more beautiful. We will be bringing you more about our countries and the continent. So you sit back and relax. And yeah, Roots and Vibes is going to be awesome. Baby girl, thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me.
See you soon. And make sure you get that baby girl treatment all day, any day.
No problem at all.
Thank you,
I'll
Mama.
make sure of that.
All right. Have a lovely weekend.
All right, you
Awesome.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye.